name's Simon. It would have been useful to have that video we watched in the lecture earlier, because then I just played that and it would have been a lot easier. But today I'm going to be talking about small group work, and I hope to do it as a discussion because I know that you've all probably read the chapter thoroughly, so perhaps we could just talk about it and discuss it as a class because that's the main focus of small group work. What I've written on the board is kind of a structured flow of what I'd like the discussion to follow. And why would that actually be important within small group work? Anyone?
Keep on topic.
Yeah, because if you've got the students in small groups and you said, look, there you go, chat amongst yourselves, they're not going to come to any conclusion, they're going to talk God knows about what. So it'd be easier if they had an actual structure to follow, then they'd be able to talk about them amongst themselves and they'll know what they're going to talk about and they'll know there's going to be a conclusion and it'll be a lot easier. So that's actually the main focus. That's why teachers find it quite anxious when they're putting their students in small groups because they don't have control. They don't become a dictator anymore, they become more a mediator, and that's why they don't necessarily like it because they lose control of the class. So that's why you need quite a structured ebb to follow so the students can follow it. And you're structuring the learning environment so students can interact productively under your indirect guidance as they work towards achieving particular learning outcomes, concluding the session and sharing. Who here has been in a small group and done small group work before? Those that don't have their hand up, I don't really believe it. So we'll assume everyone. Who enjoyed it? Andrew, why?
Yes.
Why did you like it?
Because there was less pressure to participate and I felt more secure and confident.
That's true. I hate public speaking. Terrible on it. So I find, especially in the first couple of weeks of actually joining a new class, if you're in a small group and you have that bit of a niche, you've almost got a connection with someone and you've got a bit more confidence to really express your ideas. Where if you're just thrown into a class mix and you ask a question, you've got about 1,000 eyes staring at you and you get a bit uncomfortable. So I think that's why small group work can work, especially if the first couple of weeks I think it's good, and if you need to solve a problem, or if you're an interpretation of a poem, for example, or a science prac, then you've got a small group you can work together with and you can achieve a better outcome. Who can give me some examples of, or some other examples of when a small group work would work? Now I've made this last 8 minutes. So.
I'm moving to a question that has a lot of different angles on it. So you have different group work and different sorts of questions from different areas of a topic.
That's true, because you kind of sit back and you're thrown with different interpretations from other students so you can obtain a better understanding. Anyone else?
Well, when you're trying to cover a variety of topics and instead of teaching all of those topics, you can get each individual group to work on one and then report back to the rest of the class, so it sort of helps all the students get a range of all of the topics instead of having to take weeks and weeks covering all of them. You can get them to sort of do a topic each.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Things like that.
What might be a negative aspect of small group work?
If you've got different people in the group have different ways of... Let me rephrase this.
Know-it-all.
Different people in the group have different levels of confidence in their abilities. One person might dominate the group work as opposed to everyone participating.
That's what it said in the chapter, that you might have higher learning students, they might feel weighted down.
I think also if there's a class where you just need to impart a lot of information, especially as a basis for a discussion, so that say a whole group directional teaching plan might be more appropriate when it's just a matter of giving out information as a basis to having a discussion.
Yeah, so that's what they say, because you might have someone who's quite introverted in a small group, but I think they might get quite daunted by being in a larger group. When in a small group, you hope they come out, but then you might have a know-it-all, and the egos might clash. And I think that's quite a salient point with small group work is class politics. So, for example, you got the students to pick their own groups and just say all the footy players, oh, we can't make them pick each other. And all the girls with blonde hair go, we'll pick each other. Most likely, if you give the generalisation, but out of the footy players, you might get something, you know, to do with sport. And with all the blonde girls, might get something to do with gossip. So I think if you mix it up, you can get a different perspective on the subject. It's quite good. Also with small group work, which I didn't think of until the video in the lecture beforehand, was formulating of questions. Where if you get the small group work and you give it them to formulate a question, they've got the desired outcome that they need to work towards, and then they think about it a lot more instead of just, well, here's what you've got to do, let's get it done, get into it. Also, more small group work is quite beneficial is it deals with a social aspect as well as an academic aspect. Where students need to listen, they need to communicate and convey their ideas, and they need to listen to others, and you can put students in a mix which usually might not communicate with each other. That's also quite beneficial. Class politics, obviously. Kids copying each other could be something you need to watch out for, and that's why the teacher needs to go through the class, pay attention to the small groups, and actually listen and focus and assess each group, see how they're going, because it's quite easy for students to latch onto someone with a bit more of a higher academic idea and just follow.
On that point, I was thinking that like not everyone learns at the same pace or in the same way, and small group work might be limited in that some kids might be left behind a little bit, you know, and because groups are naturally dominated by
Know-it-all.
well, yes, and sometimes they do know it all, so fair enough. But you know, that's possible limitation that perhaps the teacher needs to
I think
as
that's
well.
kind of where the idealistic view of small group work is that they're gonna just say it can work from anywhere of groups of 2 to 4. So if you've got, don't man, hurry up. So it can hopefully draw out a student and a thing where, as I said earlier, if they're quite daunted by large group work, if they can feel quite comfortable and talk.